Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Steve Beverly's TV Classics. And I'm sure glad to have you on board tonight because I think we're going to have a great time together on this Saturday evening. And we've got some surprises in store for you, including a pilot episode that has never been shown. In fact, it was never shown on network television, but we dug it up somewhere. And I think you're going to see a great difference in the way the show was in the pilot and the way it actually was when it went on the air. And there was one cast change that made all the difference in the world. We've also got one of the historic shows that has been preserved, and in fact, it's only been in recent years that it's been discovered. It actually was a show that was discovered as a doorstop on one of the engineers who ran the tape for this episode. And I'll tell you what all that's about. And we, of course, have some fun and games toward the end of it, including one of the classic local game shows. And I think some of you who've been around here for about 20 years or more, you'll remember it, and I think you're going to have a great time with it. But we're going to begin tonight with that pilot episode. Now, almost every show, sometimes they make quick deals today based on a producer's talent, but for the most part, every show that gets on the air has to go through a pilot stage. And what that is, literally, it's a test film where they do a run through and then they actually put it on film, and the cast literally is looked at by network executives. If they like the concept, they keep it. But sometimes they may decide that maybe one of the roles just isn't right, needs to be recast. And that's exactly what is the case on this one. In 1961, Shirley Booth agreed to come to television to do a series. Now, you know I'm going to be talking about Hazel here. But she actually had won an Emmy. She had won 3 of Broadway's Tonys, and she had won an Oscar. But this was one of those real challenges because she really wasn't sure she wanted to get into the grind of a television series. But when Screen Gems obtained the rights to Ted Post's comic strip that appeared in the Saturday Evening Post called Hazel, they thought of nobody that would be better for the role than Shirley Booth. So they did a test film in early 1961. And you remember, you also had Whitney Blake playing Dorothy Baxter, who Hazel called Missy. And then you also have Bobby Buntrock, who played their son, the Baxter's son, Harold. But in this one, somebody other than Don DeFore plays George Baxter. And that was one of the key ingredients to the success of Hazel, was you had that counterpoint between Don DeFore and Shirley Booth. But in this case, this was a great character actor named Edward Andrews. You probably don't remember his name as much as you will his face. But I want you to watch this for the next 25 minutes and tell me if you don't think this is really a perfect example of how sometimes casting can be all wrong. Let's go and look at the pilot for Hazel and why the lead male role was changed.